What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Unscripted Live here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. I am your host, producer extraordinaire, Logan Landers, and joining me to talk about our close to home segment, as well as we're also going to be doing some NFL preview, the Thursday night football matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and, of course, the New Orleans Saints. As always, Jay McLovin, how you doing, my friend?
Man, after last night, it's been rough, Logan. It's been rough, but I'm trying to stay optimistic. I'm trying to look to Wednesday as a rebound, but it's been rough. We'll talk more about that.
Now, Jay, I will say this, whenever we did this last, I did pick your boys, Jay. I did pick them in 7.
I know.
So there is still a chance, but...
Oh, yeah, there's always... Hey, Logan, if the Boston Red Sox can come back from being 3-1 when they came back and beat the Yankees, well, damn it, so can we.
I like that confidence. I like that, Jay. And, of course, our stat guy, Dustin Reeves. Dustin, what's up, man?
Not much. I did tell you Texas was going to win in 5, so somebody should have listened.
Well, so far you're looking good. You're up 2-0, but it's still early. Unfortunately, Jay, you dropped 2 of them in Houston, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's like I think Oz was telling us in our private chats. It is a home game for you, but since it's a Texas series, I mean, there's really no quote-unquote home games, you could say.
Yeah, like I said, man, if you look at Houston right now, if you look at Houston this series or this year as a whole, and then if you go back to last year, look at them last year as a whole, Houston has always been a terrible home team and a great away team. So I told myself I just wanted to split the series. I don't care about if we won it in Houston, but I wanted to split the series and then go on the road. Well, we didn't split the series. So now we are forced to win 3 games. We're forced to win 3 games in Texas and then come home and try to win it at home. So, we are a better road team. So we'll see how we do on the road.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. All right, well, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into our close to home segment here. And Jay, like you said, I know you have a lot to speak about. So the time is yours, my friend. Go ahead and talk about your Astros, your Cowboys, and any other teams that you want to speak on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Good to be here with you guys. I'm not talking no Cowboys today, although they did play. I think they got the win last night. Logan? Yeah. I was so mad last night. I went to bed.
They won 2017. You got the
okay? Because I at that point, Logan, I gotta be on. No, let me do the Cowboys. Let me separate them. We'll come back to that.
Go ahead.
So let's talk about these Astros for a minute. Look, here's the deal. I told you this, and I'll keep telling you this. That they are inconsistent. And inconsistency comes from a lack of hunger. It comes from a lack of a lot of things, right? It could be momentum. It could be just, I don't know, timing could be off, a lot of things, right? Chasing bad pitches. How about that? Let's start there. Chasing bad pitches. That's what the Astros were doing last night, and that's what they were doing in Game 1. They were chasing a lot of bad pitches. Look, let's be honest. If you're really a baseball person, and I know a lot of you guys are, and you watched the game of baseball, you were watching that game and you were saying, you know what? Texas is not beating the Astros. They aren't. They really are not. They are not beating us. We are beating our damn selves. We're beating, like I said last night, Logan, and I'm Dustin, I know you guys watched the game. We had bases loaded with no outs.
5th inning, yep. What happened?
But you can't get a run. You can't get a run on, and if you watched it, every one of them guys that came up to the plate were sitting there trying to hit the home run. And then and the Rangers were feeding right into it, like, hey, look, as long as Houston's going to keep swinging at these crappy, terrible pitches in the dirt, I'm just going to keep throwing them. And that's what they did. They kept throwing them, and we kept swinging. We kept chasing the elusive home run when all I cared about was just get some base hits. Get some base hits. We're back in this game. Don't worry about the home run. Get the base hits. But they were swinging at terrible pitches all night. And I don't know if they just felt like they couldn't, if they were just trying too hard to get it all at one time. I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, look, the Astros have always been a good team, very well disciplined at the plate. And last night was just an example of them getting out of who they are as a team and the way that they play. Because if you look at it in terms of strikeout percentage, Houston leads the league, has led the league for a long time, with the least amount of strikeouts, the least amount of bad swings. They really have. Their chase rate has been extremely low, and it always has been extremely low. But this series, they have gotten away from what they do trying to get those wins, trying to get back in this series. And I applaud you. That's the first time I've seen a little bit of hunger out of you. But you can't chase bad pitches. If you know this guy's throwing crap pitches, then wait, give it a few minutes. But anyway, bases were loaded several times throughout this. I think they were loaded in game 1. The bases were loaded in game 2. And twice we've had bases loaded, and twice we've come away with nothing. Now, it was a 5-4 win for the Rangers last night. It was a 2-0 win in game 1. Again, if you look how close those scores are, and if you're actually watching those baseball games, and if you're actually watching how the Astros are at bats, and you can see it, they're swinging at bad pitches. It was so bad last night. I was just like, really? This is what we're doing? The ball's like 4 feet off the plate, and you're swinging at it? This is what way we're doing? Mm-hmm. And Framber Valdez, I knew right there in that first inning, Logan, when it was first and second, when runners on first and second, I was telling my wife, I said, babe, he ain't got it tonight. This is not going to be the night for Framber Valdez. And then when he hits that ball, that little bunt almost it looked like, and Framber fumbled a little bit, but he threw it to first, and he overthrew it to first because by the time he got the ball, the batter was already in front of Framber Valdez. There was no way he could make that play, but he tried to force it anyway, and then it wound up costing him 2 runs. It was 2-0 off of a bad pitch to first base. I mean, it's just stupid little things like that that's killing us. It's not the Rangers that are killing us. It's ourselves. Anyway, we will see. Like I said in the morning, that the Astros are, a terrible home team or a better away team. So we'll see what they can do once we go to Texas. They're going to have to win 3. There's no second chances at this point. But again, like I told you earlier, if a team can come back 3-1, and we saw Boston when they got their first World Series championship. You saw it. They came back. They were down 3-1. They came back, took the pennant down 3-1. So there is still always hope for this club. I don't think this club is ever down and out. I know they are a continuously fighting club. So I expect to see something better once we go on the road. In terms of the Cowboys, well, I'm glad you got the win against the Chargers team. But let's just be honest. The Chargers are like 3-3. They're not even like this terrible, formidable Chargers team. They're no better than the damn Washington Redskins.
Hey now,
formerly.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They're a 500 ball club. Sake of what it is. They're a 500 ball club.
You said you're 500. You don't get the respect of your current name.
You're a 500 ball club. It's like whatever. Nobody cares.
And also, too, Jay, the thing, just real quick before we get into the Thursday night preview, just watching that game, it wasn't like he was getting shellacked. You know what I mean? It's the Rangers were just kind of hitting the ball where the defenders were not. I mean, it was a couple singles up the middle here and there. Like you mentioned, that kind of swinging bunt where he had an awful error on. I mean, that could have been out right there. But I think it scored a run, maybe 2. He went to go change his cleats. It helped a little bit, but it was a little too
late. What changing the cleats going to do for you? Change the whatever. Maybe it's a mental thing. But, Logan, but here's the deal with that, too. And I've said this before. I know you can't blame everything on the shift. You really cannot. No. But I will say this. If you look at, they took away the shift, right? And look how much difference the Astros look versus last year versus this year. And I'm not saying it's all on the shift. Some of it's just on bad pitching. Some of it's on bad, like I said, bad swings. But a lot of it has to do with that damn shit. I'm telling you, man, the shift, not so much the bases even, but the pitch clock even. I mean, ever since they changed the pitch clock and they took away the shift, it really affected the Astros a lot. Now, the Astros did eventually, correct themselves and get into it. But that shift, if they would have been having them shift, if they could have shifted several times more towards the third baseline and had Altuve play almost shortstop and stuff like that, a lot of or even play deeper into the outfield like he had been on that shift. A lot of those plays wouldn't have been base hits. A lot of them would have been caught. You know what I'm saying?
No, that is well said. Dustin, do you have anything you want to say about your teams this past week that you think is worth highlighting?
It'll literally take me like maybe a minute.
Go right ahead, my friend.
The Vikings won. They looked like crap because this is what a team will look like when you design your entire offense around one player and Justin Jefferson, who's not going to be there for a month. The Badgers looked like crap because they decided that they needed punting practice during the college football game on Saturday.
You witnessed the clinic on Saturday, my friend. in person, live.
987 combined punting yards.
Oh, that is something, man.
It was punting practice on Saturday.
It really was. When I saw, and I know you had mentioned you were at the game, but I was just scrolling through social media, and I saw that one of the guys had like 450 yards at that point. I'm like, this can't be right. And I looked, and I'm like, oh, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. And yeah, so that was insane. That was insane. As for my teams, obviously it's just kind of football at the moment. Since Braves still got knocked out, the hurt is still there, but not as bad a week later. Jay, we can say it so far this year. Both me and you, we're 2-0 over Frankie on football. We are.
Yeah.
We got his number this year, which is weird to say. But the Raiders narrowly got the win, 21-17. But hey, a win is a win. I thought we were screwed once Jimmy Garoppolo got carted out. I'm like, well, that's it. But hey, still not really update on what's happening with him. Doesn't seem like it's going to be super major. Said just kind of looking around, said he's dodged a bullet. Still not sure if he's going to be playing this weekend or not. They have not announced that as of this moment. But I mean, for God's sake, Brian Hoyer did decent. 6 of 10, 102, no interceptions, no sacks. I mean, hey, that's about all you can ask for. It really is. Defense played well, and hey, a win's a win. Back at 500, so it's going to be one of those seasons. It feels like an 8-8 season, 9-8 season. So I'll take it. Anyways, on to some better matchups here potentially. Saints and Jaguars happen on Thursday Night Football, taking place in the Superdome in Louisiana. Jay McLovin, give your thoughts on this one and who is going to come away with the W this upcoming Thursday.
Absolutely. Real quick. Trevor Lawrence, I know they had him listed as questionable. Has anybody heard anything as to whether or not is he going to be playing? I'm assuming he has, but
I can look, but I'll let you know whenever you're.
I'm going to assume he's playing unless y'all say differently, because I know I did see a report out there where he was having some issues.
Yeah, he is. Looks like he's day to day, but
okay.
Still no.
If he's day to day, then we're good.
It said he avoided major knee surgery, so he got lucky.
Okay.
With what
I knew he took a hit, so. If they get him listed as day-to-day, then he'll play. If it said doubtful or even questionable, then it'd be probably a game-time decision. But if it's day-to-day and they said he avoided major knee issues, unless they're going to hold him out for precautionary measures, I would imagine he's going to play.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of, Jay, now that you said that, is being that this is a short week.
Yeah.
I could see them sitting him Thursday. If this was a regular Sunday game, I think he plays. I think maybe...
Yeah,
that could be ultimately I think it's going to be a game time decision, but if anything, I could see them sitting him because of a short week.
Because that's a big thing, right?
He's sore.
Yeah.
So I could see him playing.
I'm sure he'll be sore. Hell, what football player isn't sore?
No, yeah, don't get it twisted. That's just what I've been seeing.
Hey,
anyways,
I love it when you have a sport where men run into each other on purpose, and then they say they're sore. I'm like, yeah, why would you not? How would you not be sore playing football? I'm just saying, unless you're not playing it right, or unless you're sitting on the bench. But I don't know. If that's the case, then I see this going one of two ways. If Lawrence plays, then I got the Jaguars over the Saints, 27-13. If Lawrence doesn't play, then I'm going to go the Saints route. I think the Saints take it. And it could be almost the same score. Just flip it, honestly, at this point. But as of right now, I'm going to go with the fact that I'm going to go with that premonition that Lawrence is going to play, and I'll give you what I think on that. Lawrence, obviously, is having the better statistical season than Carr is. Not that Carr's playing back, because they both have the same amount of interceptions, and that's 3. But Lawrence does have two more touchdowns. And I do think, Logan and Dustin, I do think that Lawrence is the better quarterback out of the two. Not that I'm saying Carr is bad, but I just think Lawrence, in my opinion, I think the way how fluid he is and how quick he is, how tall he is, and his accuracy, I just feel like he's the better of the two. Now when you look at the running backs, you can make an argument, right? ETN versus Kamara. We all know Kamara, man. That dude can catch it out of the backfield. He's elusive. He's quick. He can run it up. If he has up the middle, he can have a couple of yards there. Primarily, though, Kamara is usually around the tackles kind of guy. But, he's got, 52 carries, 199 and a touch. That's pretty anemic for him. But you also got to remember he's been out for a little bit due to that suspension. Yeah, it is. It's a little anemic for him. And then you look at ETN. I don't know, man. Is he really that much better? He's got 113 carries for only 451 yards, but he does have 5 touchdowns. So he has gotten into that end zone a little bit more than what Kamara has. And ETN does get yards after the catch. So I'm going to go with ETN having the edge there. So right now I got the Jaguars having the edge at quarterback, and I happen to have the edge at running back. But in all honesty, though, I do think the Saints have the better wide receiving core. Not that what's that dude's name? Kirk and Zay Flowers aren't a good wide receiving core, but they're definitely not Michael Thomas and Olave. They just aren't. So I do give the wide receiving core to the Saints, but at the end of the day, when you look at it, when you look at yards, 354 to 333 in favor of the Jags, and yards allowed 356, 294 in favor of the Saints. So the Saints do have a little bit better defense in terms of yards allowed. So in my notes, I put neither team gives up a lot of rushing yards on the ground. Matter of fact, they're actually under 100 yards averaged on the ground. So that kind of gives you right there that ETN and Kamara are going to be kind of limited on these defenses. But I think Carr has struggled against the rush. And Logan, I know out there in Oakland, you've seen him against the rush. He doesn't always do as well against the rush. Matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, he either throws it away or gets a penalty for intentional grounding, or he takes the sack. So he doesn't do really all that well against the rush, at least not as good as what Lawrence does. So for those reasons and those reasons alone, that's why I got Jaguars over the Saints, 27-13, if Lawrence does in fact play. If not, then it could go the Saints' way.
All right, Dustin, who's winning this one?
Regardless if Trevor Lawrence plays or not, okay, I'm still going to pick Jacksonville. Mainly because Jacksonville is starting to slowly look like that Jacksonville team that we saw last year. They're starting to get back to doing what they did well offensively last year. They're starting to get more of a pass rush going, especially with Josh Allen, who's decided to become one of the better pass rushers the last 3 weeks. And Derek Carr does not do very well against the blitz, like Jay said. So if you can get pressure on Derek Carr, it's going to give him happy feet. And then it's more of I'm going to throw this ball up for grabs and hope somebody can catch it. And realistically, the Saints don't have that great of receivers outside of Chris Olave. Michael Thomas is a shell of what he used to be. I think one of their receivers was lost for the season before the year even started. And then they have that Rashid Shaheed, who is in his second year, so we really don't know the kind of player he's going to be yet.
Right.
Derek Carr is also 1-2 against the Jaguars in his career. Granted, he has yet to throw an interception against them. He only has 4 touchdowns in those 3 games against the Jaguars. He's got a 71.2 quarterback rating, which is not very good. And he only averages 187 yards passing against the Jaguars. So he does not play very well against this team. And obviously he's seen them not a ton, but he's seen them enough because he's played against them when he was with Oakland and / Vegas when they were Vegas. Thursday night games are especially tough. But what makes it tougher is when you have to travel to be that Thursday night opponent. And the Saints going to Jacksonville, granted, it's not a long trip, but it's still them leaving New Orleans, having to go to Jacksonville on a short week. And if I remember the stat that I saw the other day, Thursday night games, 82% of the time are won by the home team, mainly because they don't have the travel, and it's just more of a comfortable setting for them. So I'm going to go Jacksonville. If Trevor Lawrence plays, I'm going to go Jacksonville 24-14. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, I'm going to go Jacksonville 2017.
All right. So for me, I'm also going to go with the Jaguars winning this one. I don't know, man. Just the Saints' offense has not been able to click this season at all. They've only scored over 25 points just once throughout their 6 games so far this season, and that was the 34-0 blowout against the Patriots. But beside that, they have not cracked that in wins or losses. So the offense, I'm not feeling it so far. They got to prove it to me first. Their defense has been solid for the most part. When they're on, they're on. But when they're off, not looking too hot. As for the Jaguars, we've mentioned they're coming in with a few injuries, questionable guys who might be playing, who might not. We mentioned Trevor Lawrence, but also Some guys who are currently questionable are Tyson Campbell, Brandon Sheriff, Zay Jones, and also Walker Little. So a few guys there who are going to be coming in banged up. Not sure if they're going to play. For the Saints side, Cam Jordan, he's questionable, as well as the Honey Badger, JT Gray, Lonnie Johnson Jr., and Landon Young, an offensive tackle there. So both these guys are at the moment questionable. A few of their big players remains to be seen. But I do think that Jacksonville has looked more impressive the past few weeks. I trust them more going into this ball game. I think Trevor Lawrence will be all right, but as we said, I could definitely see them taking some of the workload off of him, especially on a short week, and relying more on the running back. So we'll see how it goes there. But I'm also going to go with the Jaguars in this one, guys. I'm going to go Jacksonville getting the win 28 and give me the Saints 14 in this matchup for Thursday Night Football. As always, Jay McLovin, Stat Guy Dustin Reese. It's a pleasure talking football with y'all. We'll talk to you again on another